Hey y'all, how's it going? It is Josh back here on the Copenhagen Killer channel, and I have something on my mind that I want to talk about. And if you can't hear like the frustration in my voice, it's something that's pissed me off. Now, as y'all can tell by my hat, by the poster back there, by the like everything I showed you when I moved to Tallahassee, I'm a diehard Florida State fan, and so we're going to rant about college football in relation to Florida State. But first, like always, we got a pack of Slit. I had a little bit of Grizzly Wintergreen left, and I mixed it with a little bit of Copenhagen Wintergreen that I had left to give me a little bit more flavor, I guess you should say. But anyway, we got a pack of Slit. Got a packet. I'm sniffling a little bit, starting to get sick. Not good, not good at all. And we got to lip it, of course. And we got to spit it. Alright, so today we're going to rant. Now, I went on a bit of a rant the other day on my video about how ESPN thinks that Alabama's the best team in college football. But we're going to rant a little bit more. Now, if y'all watched the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl up in Atlanta, it was on it was on December 31st, New Year's Eve, in Atlanta, of course. And I was there at the game. I was in Atlanta at the game. But anyway, if you watch Peach Bowl, you know that Florida State lost to Houston 38-24. So ever since then, a friend of mine that's a Gators fan has been like ripping on Florida State, just like, oh, they should beat Houston. Houston's a weak team. Let me break it down for you. Houston beat Memphis. Memphis beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss beat the SEC champion, who is in the national championship, Alabama. So if Ole Miss can't beat them, can't beat Memphis, and Memphis can't beat Houston, and Alabama can't beat Ole Miss, then what the hell makes you think that Houston's a weak team? Just because of their conference? Just because of their schedule? Like, what the hell, y'all? Let me tell you something. The SEC commissioner himself said that LSU and Alabama are not as good as they thought they would be. The SEC commissioner. Sorry I'm yelling. But let's rant about rivalry week a little bit. Everyone says that the ACC is a weak conference. Well, let me tell you something. Florida State beat Florida. Florida was in the SEC championship, and if they had won, they would have put the playoff committee would have put Florida in the playoffs. Georgia almost lost to Georgia Tech. Okay? Georgia Tech had like 4 wins all season. 4 wins. I mean, yes, one of them was Florida State, but still, Florida State played like shit that game. Clemson ran over South Carolina. All right? I'm not sure about the Louisville and Kentucky game. I didn't watch that game. But still, that's like beside the point. Now let's talk about the SEC schedule, since everyone wants to talk about strength of schedule when it comes to the playoffs. Alabama lost their first decent game they played all year. Auburn almost lost to Jacksonville State. Arkansas lost to Toledo. Missouri barely beat Arkansas State. I'm tired of ESPN showing so much bias towards the SEC. Like 3-4 years ago, they might have been a decent conference. Okay, cool. They're not anymore. I'm spitting a lot. I don't know. I guess I've been dipping all day, so I don't know why I'm spitting so much. Now, let's talk about situations that should have happened. Alabama shouldn't be in the playoffs. They lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, the only decent wins they had were their strength of schedule SEC games. All right? They beat Arkansas. Congratulations. Everybody beat Arkansas. Florida beat Georgia. Congratulations. A lot of people beat Georgia. Or what? 3 people beat Georgia. All right? Georgia got blown out by Alabama. Georgia got blown out by Florida. Georgia lost to Tennessee. Georgia barely beat Penn State in their bowl game. Georgia played so bad this year that the University of Georgia fired Mark Richt. Oh, and guess where Mark Richt went? Since everyone wants to talk about the SEC being bad. Guess where he went? He went to University of Miami. The SEC should not be favored over other teams just because they've won like this many championships in this many years. Alright? Because 3 years ago, the ACC won the national championship, beating the SEC team. Last year, Ohio State butt-fucked Alabama and then butt-fucked Oregon and won the national championship. Everyone was saying, oh, Florida, if they beat Alabama, should be in the playoffs. Florida did not deliver on the big games. Florida lost to LSU, who, like I said, the SEC commissioner himself said that LSU is not as good as everyone thinks. LSU was a one-person offense, Leonard Fournette, and that was it. Just because Alabama is in the national championship doesn't mean they are the best team in college football. They do not deliver when they have to. They have lost 2 years in a row to Ole Miss. If Alabama were the best team in college football, they would have been undefeated all year, and last year, they would have won the national championship. They would have beat Auburn 2 years ago and would have been in the national championship against Florida State. And if we're being honest, they would have beat Florida State. If Alabama was the best team in college football, Now, why is Clemson, the ACC team, the number one team in the country? The ACC wins their conference games. Plain and simple. Yes, Florida State lost to Georgia Tech, and they lost to Clemson. But Georgia Tech, the game was at Georgia Tech on a Thursday night. The athletes had to leave from across town, because I live across town from Florida State. They had to leave from across town, leave school, miss a day of school to go up to fucking Atlanta to play football. And then what happens? Everett Golson plays like shit against Georgia Tech. Yeah, sure, Jimbo Fisher might have called for that pass that got intercepted in the end zone. But if I were a quarterback and the coach said, all right, let's pass when we're on the 1 yard line and we have one of the best running backs in the nation. Derrick Henry, the Heisman Trophy winner, said himself that Dalvin Cook is the best running back in the country. Hope y'all enjoyed this rant. So, yeah, that's how I feel. Thanks for watching. See you next week on the Copenhagen Killer channel.